This is the Barbados Today morning news for Tuesday, April 11th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Our top story this morning, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is hiring close to a dozen more professionals as it embarks on a 24-hour service in the diagnostics department. At the same time, the QEH is expecting to save more than $500,000 in overtime payments annually as the result of the move. CEO Dr. Dexter James told Barbados Today the additions would also ease an overworked department.
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital brought on 8 persons to fill the establishment of the lab under arrangement that says they can be rostered 8 hours within a 40-hour period. The existing public officers who transition with the board, their terms and conditions speak to a 40-hour week. To cover week after hours, weekends, and public holidays, they have been working overtime, and this is so not only for here, but for all over the region where they have this 40-hour week. So we brought on 8 additional staff to fill the establishment, and those persons are on a different arrangement that speak to putting them on a shift system where they work 8 hours in any 24-hour period.
In other news this morning, workers at the National Conservation Commission are said to be upset over reports that the statutory corporation has hired 170 new employees in recent weeks, 3 years after 200 workers were severed. Last July, the Employment Rights Tribunal ruled that the 200 workers were unfairly dismissed, and it ordered the equivalent of 52 weeks' wages in compensation. Government also agreed that the retrenched workers would be given preference for any future vacancies within the state agency. But multiple sources claim that those workers were ignored in the latest recruitment drive. And eyebrows were further raised following reports that many of the new employees hailed from the constituency of Environment Minister Dr. Dennis Lowe. President of the National Union of Public Workers, Akani McDowell, says the matter has been raised with the union and they are investigating.
If it is true, the first point has to be that the government has to learn to prioritize. We would have been asking for a salary increase for public servants who would not have received a salary increase since 2008.
Right.
And for the government to bring on 170 workers at this time, without first making sure that public servants receive a salary increase, to my mind is totally ignoring what the request of public servants, totally ignoring the request of public servants.
Right.
And of the union.
Mm-hmm.
The union is not totally against people being brought on, but we first ask that public servants receive a salary increase because we see that as one of our top priorities.
Minister Lowe denies having any information about new appointments at the NCC, and he told Barbados Today he is neither familiar with nor does he control the agency's day-to-day operations and was therefore unable to confirm or deny the claim. He also stressed that he would not comment further on the issue unless Barbados Today revealed its sources. There are more concerns over the state of the island's foreign reserves. In February, Caribbean economist Marla Ducaran said the reserves had recorded its fastest pace of decline since November 2013. Now, she says the situation is not expected to improve anytime soon. In the April 2017 RBC Caribbean Economic Report, Ducaran noted that data from the central bank, which showed that the reserves fell by 29% in February, or about 2 months of import cover. In a supporting interview, Ducaran said this suggested that the underlying problem was not temporary in nature. Government has said that foreign exchange inflows are expected from a number of sources, but she cautioned that these were one-off or exceptional inflows and not necessarily the way the country would typically earn foreign exchange. The Barbados Investment and Development Corporation is again going after clients for outstanding rent. An official source told Barbados Today the government agency locked out some clients at Pelican Village Craft Center on Friday due to non-payment. The location is home to just over 24 retail shops and over a dozen workshops, as well as a restaurant and bar and an annex with an art gallery. Barbados Today was unable to get an official word from BIDC authorities or Minister of Commerce Don Villeneuve on the latest development. But Innis told a BIDC awards ceremony last December that tenants owed $15 million in arrears to the agency responsible for promoting and facilitating the establishment and expansion of business here. That figure was up from $10 million in 2014.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who call and get your yams and potatoes? Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I can't how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. There's months now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. Call at no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she just read Barbados Today online for free. I couldn't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region, and we go to St. Lucia, where the Health Minister, Senator Mary Isaac, is under fire for racking up thousands of dollars in a mobile phone bill. The matter was raised by attorney Richard Frederick last week during his talk show. Fredericks claimed that the bill was over $10,000. We get more in this report from HDS News Force.
Speaking to the media prior to Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, the health minister said that the bill in question was an isolated incident. She disclosed that her average monthly mobile bill is between $600 and $800. Senator Isaac says she amassed the $10,000 phone bill not by making phone calls, but through data usage. The ultimate culprit, she says, is miscommunication.
I was under the impression that I was told when I came to the military that I had free data, and I'm a real data person. So I've used the data, my data, and of course no charges. So when I traveled to Abu Dhabi to a parliamentarians conference, I continued to use my data while I was roaming. And that is what accumulated, if there is such a bill, that is what accumulated on that bill. I roamed right through, to and from, and I can assure you it was not calls. It was simply data roaming. So when I came back, I was informed that there was talk about this bill in the ministry. And I asked about the bill and was told that it was an exorbitant amount. So I instructed the ministry not to pay the bill.
Senator Isaac says this decision was because upon assuming office, it was never indicated to her that local and roaming charges might differ in rate.
And finally, the U.S. says its airstrike in response to a suspected chemical attack in Syria last week destroyed a significant portion of that country's operational aircraft. Defense Secretary James Mattis says Syria would be ill-advised ever again to use chemical weapons. Syria has denied the chemical attack, which left 89 people dead. G7 nations are meeting in Italy to discuss policy and how to persuade Russia to abandon Syria as an ally. And that's the news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.